Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to take some time to talk about a topic that is on a lot of people's mind right now. It is the protest that's going to be held in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. A lot of people have been sending me emails about this. People have been asking me questions in the live chat, like what do I think is going to happen? Well, I can't tell the future. If I could, I'd be in Vegas right now, not talking to you people from my converted garage here. I'd be out making some big bucks and buying hookers and Coke. I probably wouldn't do the Coke, but the hookers are probably going to want Coke. So if you're going to do hookers, you got to do hookers and Coke because, keep the hookers happy. I don't want any myself. But the hookers are going to need a lot of energy because I ain't going to do much. I'm just going to lay there. So they're going to need as much energy as they can get. But getting off topic here, want to talk about what is going to be happening there tomorrow, what I think about it, what I think is going to happen, and how I feel about the whole thing overall. First off, let's talk about how I feel about January 6th. Now, I know there are people on both sides of this argument. There are some people that think, this was clear-cut treason. It was mutiny. They were trying to overthrow the government, and every one of them needs to be in prison. They need to be hanged. And then there's people on the other side is like they were just good, concerned citizens doing the right thing, and they don't deserve any punishment for it whatsoever. And then I think there's most of us that are kind of in the middle there. I'm more towards the you break the law, you pay the price side of things. But I will say one thing. Now, people that were beating police officers and getting violent, yeah, those people should be facing charges. People that just wandered through, not so much. If someone just did property damage, broke a window, broke a door, and they don't have any other priors, charge them for what they broke. Fine with that. Don't ruin someone's life over they walked through a door they shouldn't walk through or they broke a window in anger after getting all riled up in a big group by politicians giving them speeches, etc. Don't ruin people's lives over that. Mainly I say that because the people I see getting prosecuted, having their lives ruined, tends to be the people in the median tax bracket and down. I don't see any of the billionaires that helped facilitate this, paid expenses for this, helped organize this through giving money to groups, etc. I don't see them facing any consequences, and I don't see politicians on either side that facilitated this facing any real consequences yet. The ones that stirred it up and tried to get it to happen, and the ones who knew it was going to happen but very gladly let it happen because they thought it would be good PR for them. And they were not concerned one bit about the lives of the people that might get caught up in it. They're not facing any consequences, so right now, unless you committed a serious crime like assaulting someone, I'm not all that worried about it. Now, the people who did assault people, go to jail, pay the crime, do the time. You did the crime, do the time. But don't let it be anything more than an assault charge and a trespassing charge. I don't want to trump it up a lot, so to speak. So, like I said, I have mixed feeling about January 6th. I lean far more towards the people were wrong and they should pay the price for any crimes they committed, but be reasonable about it because crimes were committed, everything from just minor trespassing up to serious physical assault and battery. So the ones that committed the high crimes, the higher level crimes, arrest them, imprison them, put them in jail, whatever is suitable for that crime. Not treason. I don't think we need to be charging citizens with treason. And people who just trespass, just give them a warning if they don't have priors. And like I said, if they broke something, make them pay for it. But how do I feel about the rally itself? The new rally, not the January 6th thing, now that I've covered how I feel about January 6th. And covered hookers and Coke also, obviously. How do I feel about what's going to happen tomorrow or what is happening tomorrow? Well, first off, these people are going down there to protest because they believe the people that were arrested for the January 6 events are being held unjustly by the government and not giving fair trials and not being treated fairly by the legal system. So I believe they have every right to be there and protest. In fact, if they feel that way, I would not think very much of them if they didn't go there and protest. It's kind of like how I believe if someone is pro-life and they don't protest abortions, I'm like, well, then you're not very pro-life then, are you? It must be something you just like to say. The people that are going there, kudos to them. They believe something and they're willing to stand up and be counted. Does that mean they're right? No. You don't have to be right or wrong to protest. Protesting doesn't necessarily mean you're right or you're wrong. It just means you have an opinion and you're willing to let it be heard. So I'm fully in favor of an actual protest. Got nothing against it whatsoever. Now, just because you should protest or you can protest doesn't mean, I meant to say since you can't, just because you can protest doesn't mean you should protest. Because like I said, I don't know that they're right or I don't know that this deserves a protest. But like I said, if they believe it does, they should be there. I'm not taking a real stand on their opinion because I don't even know if I really understand their full opinion. But I will say this. If you're going to do something like what happened January 6th, you better be sure you have proof and you better be sure you're right. If you're going to try to stop the workings of our government or even overthrow a government, make sure you're right and make sure you can win. Because if you lose, whether you were right or wrong, if you lose, you're going to be painted as a traitor. If the founding fathers had lost the Revolutionary War, we'd all be sipping tea with monocles talking about how them peasants back in the day tried to rebel. They were traitors. You know, that's what would be the reality, and that's how it would be written right now. They were all scumbags, just horrible, vile, toothless monsters who tried to, rally against the queen, that kind of garbage. Because the winner writes the story. The winner writes the history. So better make sure you're going to win. But the very fact people are willing to take a risk if they know they may not win shows maybe they have strong convictions. And I can't really fault people for their convictions as long as they think those convictions through. If your conviction is that you think the mailman is Satan's baby and my dog told me I have to strangle him to death, and those are your convictions, if you act on them, that's not good because, you really didn't think that through too much. You don't have a lot of real valid logical reasoning there. Maybe you might even be a little crazy, but that's not good to act on your convictions if you've got nothing to base it on. That's why I say make sure you got a lot of proof, because if you can't show other people proof, and especially if all the proof goes contrary to you, maybe hold back on anything serious. This is all I got to say to people. I don't want to see people getting in trouble. I don't want to see people who go there with the best intentions get in trouble. I don't want to see tomorrow people who go there for the right reasons getting caught up in something where they do something wrong and they suffer for it severely, even though they went there with all the best intentions. So I don't want to see something like that tomorrow. Now, do I think something like that is going to happen? Actually, I don't really. I think this is going to be a bunch of fluff and blow and, just guff about nothing. I can't even think of the words I'm trying to say right here. It's a big hullabaloo. They're just pumping it up to be something it ain't going to be. Because I don't think it's going to be this massive, violent rally that the media wants to pretend. They want to be like, oh, it's going to be a bloodbath, or oh, it's going to be another insurrection, or blah, blah, blah. You're hearing all that stuff. And even some people on the right are worried, like, oh my God, there's going to be violence, and what's going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. I just don't think there's going to be much that happens. I think some people are going to show up. I don't think nearly as many people as the media thinks. Like that rally just recently with the My Pillow guy and Roger Stone and Michael Flynn, where there was supposed to be 10,000 people there and like 268 people showed up. I think it's going to be mostly, the build-up's going to be far bigger than the actual event, if you know what I mean. A lot of fear-mongering. And the people who do show up, I think, are just going to protest. Now, the only way I see something going really wrong, really, really wrong, is if there are counter-protesters. And that's why I don't like these when they schedule counter-protests right next to a protest. Let people have their say. Let people be heard. If you feel you have to go shout them down, well then that makes me think you think they might have a point if you have to shout them down. If you can't let them be heard. So the counter-protest thing, that's where I see the most danger here. That's what we see in Portland all the time, the counter-protest garbage. And the police really need to do something about that. Well, first they need to get all the homeless people off the street, but that's another story altogether. But the counter-protest is where I see the danger. If, let's say, 200 people show up tomorrow or 2,000 people show up tomorrow to protest the treatment of the January 6th participants, and 500 Antifa show up and start throwing rocks and bottles at them, or paintballs, or shooting them with that, or bear spray, and that's going to end up with a lot of people probably getting hurt. But it's not because the side that went there to protest is actually causing problems. It's because another group decided to come there and make a circus out of it. I think we should just let other groups protest. Let them say their piece. When you don't want to let them say their piece, it makes it look like you're afraid of what they have to say. And that's just the way it always looks to me. I don't know about anybody else out there. But that's the only real danger I see. Now, there is a chance that things could go wildly wrong tomorrow. A lot of people could show up with the wrong intentions. There are a lot of people out there right now that are convinced of some things that are kind of ridiculous. But they've had a lot of people in power and people they trust telling them these things. And they see stuff on the media and everything else. So a lot of times it's hard for people not to be misinformed today. So that's why I always tell people, try to inform yourself. Research things. If you see something on the news or you see something on Facebook, don't believe it. In fact, you should take the opposite opinion immediately and go see if you can prove the opposite opinion. That way, if you can't, then that might mean what you read is true. At least it has a good chance of it. But like I said, a lot of people today believe a lot of things. So people could show up there with all the wrong intentions to do the wrong thing, but I just don't see it. I think this is another news cycle blow up where it's not really going to be anything like they say it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be a lot of speakers telling people to march down and try to stop this or try to stop that like last time. Last time was pretty special circumstances. So I ain't too worried about what happens tomorrow. Maybe I'll be wrong. And I hope I'm not. Because like I said, if I'm wrong, there's going to be problems. I don't want anybody to have any problems. I'm tired of seeing decent, hardworking, everyday Americans suffering for the divisions between the politicians and the corporations, etc. I'd rather not see anyone else arrested for this stuff. I'd rather see people sit down and discuss their differences, talk about the things they believe, maybe enlighten each other a little bit. I'd rather see that. Will I see that tomorrow? Hey, you never know. Maybe some people will, but I doubt it. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be this big bloodshed moment of violence and trying to overthrow the government and beating on cops and all this other stuff, or citizens getting shot. At least I hope that's not going to happen. And I just don't see it happening. So for everybody who's really worried about it, I wouldn't worry about it, especially if you're not going. If you're going, I'd be a little more worried. But if you are going, think about why you're going and hope, if you're going for the right reasons, that everyone else there is doing that also. But while you're there, pay attention to the crowd. Pay attention to the tenor, the fervor. Where is it going? What's the feel? And if anytime you start to feel uncomfortable, leave. There's nothing wrong with leaving. I have left things like that when I'm like, this is going the wrong direction. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Sometimes the best decision you can make is, I'm fucking going home. So if you go, be safe, pay attention to what's going on. Most of all, be peaceful. And as long as you're not confronted with violence, don't enact violence. And I think everything tomorrow will be just fine. All right, I went a little long with that first topic. I'm not sure how I went that long. I didn't feel like I said much, and I probably didn't say much. I just took a long time to say it. But I'm kind of out of time here. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these things to 15 minutes. So I just want to close up today by reminding people out there, if you want to come on my show here, we can pre-tape something for the show. If you want to come in my live chat and contradict me on something, Slap the Yank is still a thing. Slap the Yank. I hope I said that right there. I'm not sure what I actually said. But just send me an email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, and in the subject line, put Slap the Yank and tell me, hey, I want to come on your show. Now, you really don't have to do that, because when you do that, I'm just going to tell you, I do a show every day, this time to this time. Come on in the live chat, tell one of the moderators, hey, I want to get in there for Slap the Yank. They'll make sure you get a link to the live chat, so you can come in live, have your say. And I'll give you time. I'm not going to stop you from having your say. There will be a portion where you just get to speak your mind, and then we can debate it if you want to. Or you can just speak your mind and leave, for all I care. But if you want to do that, like I said, come to the live chats. I relish people having a different opinion. I love debating people who feel differently. And it doesn't have to be polite, oh, I do concur. No, it can be oh, you're a moron. I don't care. You can call me names. I can yell at you. Whatever. We're adults. We can do that. But I just want to remind everybody, if you got something you want to say, I keep getting messages from people who want to do it, but then they never show up. So if you're not going to show up, don't even send me an email. You're just wasting your time and mine. If you send me the email, come to the live chat. Even if you don't send an email, come to the live chat. Say, I want to come in and talk about this. You can come in and talk about it. I don't really care. Like I say, I welcome you. Also, if you got something to promote, like say you're a person who's created a product, or you have promoted or put together a rally or something, and you want to come on and promote it, you can do that too. Send me just email, Slap the Yank, same thing, but you just won't really be slapping the yank. You'll be like, hey, can I come on and promote this product I made, or this business I have, or this rally I'm putting on? I've always got time for that too. Most of the chat is me sitting there going, what was I just talking about? So there's time for that stuff. So if you want to do any of that, like I said, just send me an email, shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com. Put in the subject line, Slap the Yank, or just come into my live chats. There's one from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time every day of the week except for Monday and Wednesday. And on Monday and Wednesday, there's one from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. So come on in one of those times, one of those days, and let me know you want in the chat, and I'll make sure you get in there and you get to have your say. All right, everybody, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Actually, don't come back tomorrow, because tomorrow's Saturday, and there's not a show on Saturday. But come back Monday. I hope you enjoyed it enough today to come back Monday. Hope you remember by Monday that this actually happens, that I'm here doing this stuff, because I know I'm kind of forgettable. But if you do remember, come back Monday. All right, with that being said, I just want to go on here and sign off as usual by saying, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, it is what it is. It could definitely be worse, but it could be better. And if we as a community come together, keep level heads about us, and start to ignore the fearmongers, the profiteers, the fake activists, the people who aren't really serving the Second Amendment, they're just trying to manipulate you through anger and fear so that they can take your money. If we ignore those people, what things will be for people who value the Second Amendment and freedom in general in the very near future is better.